We love a good medieval battle game here on the channel. Battling against large groups of enemy soldiers, shoulder to shoulder with your teammates, is just so satisfying. This new game mixes together intense melee and ranged combat with crazy fantasy powers and abilities, so you know we had to check this one out. Toy Logic are the developers, and they also made Happy Wars, which is a fan favorite Xbox Live Arcade game. And this is their new title, Warlander, and it's similar but even more improved. Warlander is a unique action-packed third-person multiplayer game in a medieval and fantasy-inspired setting. It blends together online battles of up to 100 players with MOBA-style gameplay, including capturing towers and racing to the enemy's castle core. So if you're looking to have a really fun time in a new game, solo or with friends, you can check this one out because it's also free to play. And we've made it super easy for you to find. All you have to do is go to the link in the description down below. So when PlayOn asked us to check out this game and make a sponsored video with some classic Arix Gaming beginner tips, we felt it was a good fit, and we love these kind of games anyway, so thank you to PlayOn. Within the game, there are 3 different core classes to play: the Mage, Cleric, and Warrior. Personally, I love playing as mages in any game, as slinging spells to take down enemies from afar is definitely my pick. But I'd love to know what your playstyle is normally in these kind of games. Tell me in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video and want to support us, definitely click like down below and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one. Before we get into specifics, let's explain the overall game so you know what's up. The first thing to know is that there's 2 different game modes: the 2 army battles and the 5 army battles. The difference between these modes are the number of teams playing within the game, one having 2 teams battling one another, and the other having 5 teams battling in a free-for-all style. The objective of the game is simple: destroy the enemy's core at the heart of their castle or base to win. However, in order to do this, you must first fight past waves of enemy player squads and capture their towers, granting you forward spawning points to keep the pressure on. In between towers are fortified walls and gates that your team must break down with attacks, spells, abilities, and even siege weapons. Once you have pushed through the enemy's defenses, captured their towers along the way, you can then fight into their castle and destroy their core. One of the great things about Warlander is that it's free to play, so there's nothing to lose by checking it out, and it will be launching on PC via Steam. When it comes to combat, you should know that you will have some standard attacks which will be the core of your battling. You'll have light attacks to damage the enemy, blocking if your character has a shield, a guard break to stagger a guarding enemy, and critical attacks to deal bonus damage when the critical icon is displayed. During matches, you will also come to understand the Valor system. Your performance in battle will grant you Valor points, which allow you to do more things in-game, such as spawning in with stronger characters. Learning the map will also help you just like in any game, so understanding the somewhat MOBA structure of the map is going to help you win. The maps are split into lanes with towers and defenses integrated into each lane. Towers act as your spawn points and allow you to get back into the fight quicker, so capturing an enemy's tower is a great way to push them back and advance your team forwards. You can even warp on these towers to teleport around the map to other occupied towers and use this to respawn as a different character if you like. One great tip when starting off is to complete the beginner's quests in-game. These reward you with different items and gear for completing relatively standard objectives, and this will give you a massive boost and help you out early on. One thing you will definitely want to understand is building your deck or roster of characters out, as this will determine who you can play within a match. As mentioned previously, there are 3 core classes, but which one is right for you? Firstly is the Warrior, your traditional soldier class with a focus on melee combat and tanking, but does also have some range attack options as well. Next is the Mage, your powerful, fully focused range class with powerful spells covering both single target and area of effect options. Finally is the Cleric, the support class capable of healing, but also a good melee option. Each class has a good amount of variety, as you can switch between 2 weapons that can change their playstyle. This is most pronounced on the Warrior class that can switch from close combat sword and shield wielder to a ranged crossbow user, making them quite versatile in battle. On top of this, each weapon option will have its own 3 abilities that you can mix and match to your liking. This means you can have a total of 6 abilities to use in battle, with each weapon having 2 standard and 1 ultimate with a longer cooldown. This is fantastic as you can set up and customize your character to have abilities that complement the playstyle of the weapon you're using. For example, playing as a warrior with the power bomb ability on your sword and shield is fantastic, as it will grab a nearby enemy and powerbomb them into the floor for massive damage, and it even ignores someone blocking with their shield. When it comes to creating these characters and setting up their abilities, the game has an extensive character creator to make your soldiers unique, but also an in-depth point system for maximizing your character's abilities, armor, and perks. Which brings us to our next topic. Customization is a big part of the game, and unlocking new abilities or cosmetics is a core part of the gameplay loop. After completing a match which you will earn XP, but also cosmetic items, gear pieces, and even abilities. As you level up your characters, you'll be able to assign titles to them, which raises their maximum customization points or CP limit and allows you to equip more costly and powerful gear and abilities. Each gear piece, perk, and ability you equipped on your character will cost these CP points, so you will need to level up, use titles, and manage your points wisely to create the perfect build for your playstyle. Remember, you can see your total CP points at the top corner of the gear screen. Titles also offer different bonuses when applied to characters, and gear pieces grant stats and some even have perks on them. Additionally, gear and abilities come in different rarities and levels, so playing matches and obtaining more gear is a great way to get more powerful. It's important to bear in mind that making stronger characters will cost higher amounts of valor points in-game to deploy, and they will have a longer cooldown when you're defeated. A good tactic to begin with is to have some lower level characters in your deck. This means when the match starts off, you can use them right away, and then in your reserves you're going to have more powerful characters for later on in the match when you've earned enough valor points to spawn them. So creating a balance of high and low cost characters is a great way to reduce your downtime in-game. On top of all of this, you even have emotes. So if you want to boogie down in-game, just select the dance one. Teamwork is going to be super important if you want consistent wins. This is a team-focused game, and so trying to be a solo warrior and rushing into the enemy's base alone is a fast way to get defeated and give your enemy the advantage. There's a number of systems in-game that can really aid and synergize your teamwork. You'll play the game as part of a 4-man squad, so your team is split into 5 of these individual 4-man squads. Before you load into a match, each squad can vote on what strategy they want to play during the match. For example, you can let your squad know that you plan to play more aggressively by picking Assault. After this, your team's squads will then vote to take on one of 3 roles. These include the Castle Guard, a squad focused on protecting the castle. Next is the 3 assault squads who focus on attacking and destroying the enemy's core. Finally is the special ops squad, which is focused on capturing towers all around the map. Once your squad has picked a role, you'll be given a list of objectives to complete that helps coordinate your team as a whole. There's also a ping system in-game that you can use to communicate with other team members, or the shout system to request revives or heals. Within matches, you will quickly learn that utilizing the battlefield is a great way to get an advantage for your team. The main objective of the game is to capture towers and destroy the core of your enemy while defending your own. But there are also several things around the map that you can use to have the edge over your enemy. Firstly is the siege structures that you as a player can build and use for your team. There are ballista, which offer fast-paced range attack options to destroy enemy players and gates, battering rams that can quickly destroy enemy gates, oil pots that are a great defensive tool for stopping enemy rushes as it drops a pool of fire that denies access to the area below, and trebuchets which allow you to bombard enemy control points over a long distance. Utilizing these in combination with your team is a great way to control the battlefield. To build some of these tools, you will need to find their spawn locations around the map. They're usually found on the high ground, and you'll need to interact with materials on the ground to build them, so keep an eye out for these in the match. While building them, a small minigame will appear, and you want to focus on the red dot in the center of the white circle to build them faster. Once built, you can also further reinforce them, which will enable them to resist even more enemy damage. Then you have cataclysmic idols. These function as a powerful trump card for your team. They will appear periodically over time on the battlefield, and activating these for your team will cool down all manner of crazy and powerful abilities near your location, such as a whirlwind-style tornado or even a meteor storm. So keep an eye out for these on the map and try to activate them closer to the enemy's castle for best results. One of our favorites is the giant mech. This is not only fun to use but also great for quickly defeating enemies and their gates. So now you're ready to go on the battlefield and dominate your enemies with these tips. Remember to customize your characters to your liking, add them to your deck, but keep an eye out on their CP limit. Managing your squad strategy and utilizing the in-game ping system is going to be a massive help to coordinate your team to victory. What kind of strategies would you go for? Assaulting the enemy's base, defending your own, or roaming around and capturing towers? Tell me down below in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, you can support us by clicking like and subscribing down below. And the 2 videos on screen now, we think you'll really enjoy if you enjoyed this one. You don't have to watch them if you don't want to, but if you did enjoy this video, you're probably going to enjoy these ones too. And make sure to tell us what you think after watching in the comments down below.